morning, everybody, and welcome. Come down just a little bit, Tony. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Yeah, I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. And I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. And I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. And I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Let's do it again. Slower. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Yeah. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see love in every face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
No, there we go. Okay, that's better. Okay, hi everybody. I'm so glad to see you again this week. Welcome to those online. We're going to take a moment now to calm ourselves and just get centered in some quiet and peace right now. Take a deep breath or two and just enjoy the peaceful moment here for a little bit. I think with our theme being peace today, we might realize that before we can give peace, we have to feel the peace and we have to be the peace. And last night as I was tucking my little granddaughter into bed, I felt that peace so deeply. I rubbed her back for a little bit and we were just quiet there together. And you may have had this experience, tucking your child or your baby in. It's one of the most peaceful moments. You might also feel that peace when you're looking at a sunset or a sunrise over the water, or just holding hands with a special person in your life. So feel that peace a little bit. Let it sink into your heart. And we know that once we've reached that peaceful place way down deep inside, we're in a position to send it out. Send it out everywhere into our world. And as we send it out, others will feel it, and it will bring about positive change and good things everywhere it goes. And it will have an effect. And we claim this truth, and we're so grateful that it works that way. And so it is. Amen.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see love in every face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Peace. Hey, look, I found it, my inner peace. Hey, look, I found it, my inner peace. Hey, look, I found it, and it feels like such a sweet relief. I finally found the inner peace inside of me. Oh, look, I found it, my empathy. Hey, look, I found it, my empathy. Hey, look, I found it, and it felt like such a sweet release. I finally found my inner peace inside of me. And the world goes round and around and around and around. The sun shines on us all. There ain't no place to run, no place to hide. And the world goes round and around and around and around. And when I'm feeling small, I open up myself and look inside. Hey, look, I found it, my inner peace. Hey, look, I found it, my inner peace. Hey, look, I found it, and it felt like such a sweet relief. I finally found my empathy inside of me. And the world goes around and around and around and around. The sun shines on us all. There ain't no place to run, no place to hide. And the world goes around and around and around and around. When I'm feeling small, I open up myself and look inside. Oh, look, I found it, my inner peace. look, I found it, my inner peace. Hey, look, I found it, and it felt like such a sweet relief. I finally found the inner peace inside of me. I finally found my inner peace inside of me. I finally found my inner peace inside of me. Alrighty. Happy Sunday, everybody. Yeah. Well, Friday I'm going to have a big on Friday, but on Wednesday night, a few of us are gathering together at Barking Legs. There's a girl named Sharon Schwab. She's going to do the full show, and she's going to allow me to do a little bit, but we're going to have a little bit of a gathering. So this is Wednesday night at Barking Legs Theater down on Dodds, if you want to come. It starts at 7:30. She charges about $10. I'm not charging anything, but it's $10. So if you guys want to come on by, come by. All right, happy Saturday. Oh, happy Sunday, everybody. I had a show last night, and I've not had a show in a long time, so I'm a little crazy today. In a good way. In a good way. It's a happy crazy.
You found your inner peace.
I found my inner peace. It's there. It's always there. We just got to look inside and find it. But thank you so much for that. Thanks for the reminder. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Love you, man.
You too.
All right, that was Landis Bass, everybody. Yeah. I said Landis. Yeah. Oh, late. Yeah, okay. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Chattanooga's Sunday service. It's great to see you all here. We have a nice full house today. My name is Eric Miller. I have the honor and pleasure of serving as your treasurer on your board of trustees. I got peace like a river in my soul. Anybody else? Yeah, that was a great song. Okay, I also want to welcome everybody on Facebook. I see we've got some dual camera action here. Your energy is important to us, and it's part of our service. You know, it's with the in-person energy is one thing, but the cyber energy is there too, and so it's nice that you can tap into that and welcome. Please share any comments or hit that like button, love button, whatever moves your heart. We appreciate it. Okay, and we especially want to welcome anybody who is joining us for the first time today. If there is anybody here, please raise your hand. Didn't think so. What? Sorry?
I said bless you.
Oh. May the person that sneezed step up and give them back.
We'll all bless you.
Yes, we'll all bless each other. Well, we always say that we talk about that spark of divinity that's within us all, that Christ within, and we rub our hands together and we welcome new people with that energy. But I think it's nice if we just kind of polish that diamond for ourselves too sometimes, because I know personally, I sometimes forget to polish that diamond, that Christ within. So let's just warm up our hands and just let's just say, we're going to do it in the plural, but we're all in the plural. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in us. Yes, exactly, right? Do you feel that? So, it's just that spark of divinity. We all have it. And I think it's this time of year, it's a little easier to remember because, everyone's wearing red and Santa hats and stuff, but we all have it 365 days a year. So something to give thanks for. So today is the second Sunday of the Advent season, celebrating peace. So I am going to light two of our Advent candles here. Come on. There you go. Burn, baby, burn.
Let's pray.
We're going to be talking about that today, right? We're going to be talking about, come on, let's feed it some energy, everyone. Grow, baby, grow. It's coming. It knows we're here. As I light that peace candle, it's important that we remember the words found in Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. And we know as truth students that peace attracts peace, right? War doesn't make peace. Peace makes peace. And so peace is always possible, even on our busiest of days. Just imagine what life would be like if all of life's inconveniences and interruptions no longer upset us. It's like, just imagine that for a minute. Embrace your inner John Lennon. Imagine that those interruptions and those little hiccups, like finding your refrigerator in the garage isn't working anymore, and you got all this food in there for the holidays. Okay, thank you. I've got a solution for that. I don't know what it is yet, but I know it's coming. Yeah, right. But in unity, we believe that peace, like all of God's qualities, is always seeking to express in our lives, right? And so sometimes I like to look at little challenges like that and go, okay, we're going to get to go talk to Jim down at Jim's Appliances in Ringgold, who's always a trip to talk to, He's, this guy, if anybody doesn't know Jim's Appliances in Ringgold, I highly recommend going down there and checking it out. So peace is our divine nature. We all know there's nothing quite as satisfying as having a peaceful heart. And when we maintain a consciousness of peace, we become a part of the effort to bring it to the world. We become magnets for peace, right? So, in the immortal words of John Lennon, I watched this great documentary on PBS 2 nights ago about the making of Imagine and how John collaborated with Yoko and George Harrison and all these other people, and what a process it was. And they had all this documentary footage. It was amazing. And by his own admission, the words Imagine actually were Yoko Ono's words. They actually, by his own, years later, he gave her the credit that he said, it was really a Lennon-Ono song. And because almost all of those words were in her book, Grapefruit, that she had published before she even met John. So, a little fun fact. But just imagine all the people sharing all the world. Just imagine, just for a second. It's an energizing feeling for me. So you may say I'm a dreamer, but I know I'm not the only one. All right? So that's right. There are lots of us. That's right. So our affirmation today is, peace is my true nature. With every breath, divine peace is radiating an intelligent, harmonizing force in my life. So let's say it all together. Peace is my true nature. With every breath, divine peace is radiating an intelligent, harmonizing force in my life. Isn't that, I don't know, I find that really empowering, so I hope people walk away with that today. So now it's time in our service to greet and acknowledge those people in our immediate vicinity. We have a pretty big house. If we do this like we normally do, it's going to be hard to find our seats back. Unless we want to play musical chairs, we could do that. So just in your immediate vicinity, share your light, share your inner light and love with each other. Stand and greet your neighbor with a hug, a fist bump, whatever moves you. And the coffee is ready. Yes, yes. It's down. I like the tone of this one better. That big one is kind of, it's too flat. I like the, for me. Thank you all for letting me ring the gong and ignoring my previous, like, don't do this. I love that. You know, go ahead and do it. Gives me an excuse to ring the gong. One of my favorite things. Okay, so today I am pleased to announce that we have Dr. Will Tuttle is with us as our guest speaker today. He is a composer, pianist, educator, and author of the best-selling book, The World Peace Diet, which is published in 18 languages. He's devoted to providing uplifting and healing original music and to helping people awaken their inner wisdom and genius. You're all geniuses. That's your takeaway for today. You already knew it. I knew you already knew it. He has a PhD in education from the University of California at Berkeley, focusing on educating intuition. He has taught college courses in philosophy, humanities, mythology, creativity, and comparative religion. He is a former Zen monk and Dharma master in the Korean Zen tradition. And he is currently conducting a music, art, and education ministry with his wife, Madeline, a visionary artist from Switzerland. Madeline specializes in painting that celebrate the beauty of animals and nature, as you can see in some of the displays we have here, and I invite everyone to go check out what we have in the library. She is a flautist and Waldorf teacher. So they are traveling and providing lectures, concerts, and workshops throughout North America right now. You might have noticed that cool van out front with the California tags, inspiring art prints, cards, and books, as well as recordings of original piano music. Oh, okay. I'll do that at the end. Yeah. You had a little note for me. So, let's welcome Dr. Will Tuttle.
Thank you so much, Eric. Well, I'd like to go ahead and start with a meditation, and then we'll go into the talk and so forth. So please make yourselves even more comfortable than you are already. More at least. We'll go ahead and get started here. So let's become aware of our breathing. And with every exhalation, allowing ourselves to let go of any thoughts of the past, of the future, enter more deeply into this present moment. The only holy moment is right now. And we give thanks for this beautiful day and for this precious opportunity of a human birth, the opportunity to be here in this sanctuary. We give thanks for all the forces that have unfolded in our lives to bring us here, to this sacred space. And we give thanks for everyone who, through their yearnings and aspirations, make this Unity Center here in Chattanooga possible. This sanctuary that reflects the yearnings to awaken to the truth that we are. And we give thanks knowing that this outer sanctuary is a manifestation of the inner sanctuary where we dwell always in harmony and in unity with the infinite love that is the source of our life and of all life. And we give thanks for all of the teachers in our life and for all of the teachings of all the wisdom traditions of the earth, of the world. And we give thanks for this community and for the community of of all living beings on this precious planet, for the beauty here and the abundance. We especially give thanks for all of the animals that celebrate their lives in the waters and in the air, on the land, and for the whole human family on our great adventure of awakening out of the delusion of separateness to the truth of the infinite interconnectedness of life and of all of us. And we give thanks knowing that the light that shines at the very heart of the universe is shining right now in our heart, shining in every cell of our being, bringing every dimension of our life into alignment with our purpose, bringing every cell of our being into harmony with the radiant health and joy and freedom and abundance and awareness that are our true nature, that what we are was never born and will never die. And we give thanks knowing that we are every day connecting more deeply with the inner vision and purpose of this life. So we just take a moment and allow the music to open an inner doorway to connect more deeply with our truth, the truth that we are. Taking a moment now and just entering the silence together, breathing together, opening to the infinite love and spirit that is ever present as peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and at peace. May all beings be free. And may we realize the original brightness of our own minds and hearts. And may we continue to work together to build a world that cares for everyone. A world that reflects the inner Christ truth. That one life lives through us all. Through the power and through the presence of the infinite spirit of truth and love, we give thanks knowing this is so. And so it is. Thank you, everyone, for joining together in our meditation time. I'd like to play a piece of music now. It's a piece of original music. It's called Dance for the Arctic Moon. And I'd like to dedicate this especially to the sacred feminine dimension of consciousness within all of us, the power to be receptive and to open to the inner wisdom. The moon in the sky represents cross-culturally the feminine, and of the four directions, the north represents the direction of going within and contemplating. So this is Dance for the Arctic Moon. Enjoy. I'd like to dedicate it to the healing of all of our relations. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much. So let's see. Maybe I'll just stand over here. So what a wonderful morning, and so honored. We are so honored to be with you, Madeline and I. Let's give a hand for Madeline too. She goes with me everywhere and does all the art and everything. I met Madeline in Switzerland many years ago. We've been married now over 30 years, and she puts up for me with me for that long. It's really a delight. And so we basically have been traveling to Unity churches for quite a few years. I'd say about 35 years, and to Unity churches all over the United States and quite a few other countries as well. And I just love this movement because I think in many ways it's a movement that is the most healthy in the sense of being based on the sense of inclusion, that we include not only everyone is welcome here, but also we include the wisdom traditions of many societies. I mean, it's founded, of course, squarely on the Christian teachings of Jesus and the power of those for healing and for awakening and transformation, but also includes the other traditions of the world as well. And this is, I think, very healthy and powerful, and helps to transform our society in so many ways, because this divisiveness that we feel in our society today. I'm just so close to this beautiful sheep here. I think coming together like this and remembering that there's one life that lives through all of us, and the wisdom traditions from many different countries and cultures have had people that have awakened to this, and that we can, each one of us, awaken to this ourselves. And this is really, I think, what Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were talking about when they founded Unity as a healing ministry. And it's so interesting because one of the things that Charles Fillmore is famous for saying is that he thinks each one of us should go straight to headquarters, right? Each one of us has the capacity to go straight to headquarters. And of course, for him, that was easy. That meant, I'll just ask Myrtle. And I can just ask Madeline. But for everybody else, no, the idea is that we have within us this inner guidance system. And that's what we'll be talking about in the workshop this afternoon. And right now I'd like to talk about that a little bit too, because really this is so important. And I think the main problem in many ways in our society is that we're born into a culture that's under a delusion of materialism. We think basically that this is it. Whatever you see, measure, quantify, that's all that exists. And we don't recognize that there's an underlying spiritual presence and what we are is a manifestation of that our true nature is consciousness. A lot of my study has been, as maybe you gathered, in the Buddhist tradition. And it was interesting because when Buddhism first started, when the Buddha had his enlightenment way back like 500 BC, there was a few symbols that they kind of generated. And one was the wheel, one was the tree. He was enlightened under the Bodhi tree. Another was a footprint. They would have these footprints that was kind of like supposed to mean something. And I love that one because in many ways it represents our situation, right? When we go, say, somewhere to a beach or somewhere and we see a footprint in the sand, we don't go up to the footprint and go, "Hi, George, how are you doing?" Right? We know the footprint was made by a being. We're just seeing a footprint. So that's us, right? This is a footprint waving. Our physical body is really a footprint. The being that I am, you can't see that. What we are is non-corporeal, invisible, eternal life and consciousness and awareness. We're manifesting for a few short decades through this vehicle, and we tend to forget that what we are is this eternal life. And because we're not taught that, we're taught the opposite of that. We're taught to identify with a race and a shoe size and this, that, and the other, all our memories, and we have this whole collection and a name, right, that we have for this time. And so that kind of creates this separate self illusion. And it's like like when you have an ocean and you have waves coming in, and all the waves say, "Here I am, I'm a wave," But at a certain point, you realize, well, it's the ocean happening, right? There's one life, like this, like my fingers, in a sense, like, they're all here to work together to help me play the piano. And if one said, "Well, get out of the way, I'm gonna," I couldn't play the piano. So the whole idea is like each one of us can serve. When we work together, we can serve a higher power because we are that. And so in our society, though, the emphasis is on the separation and on materiality. And I think we're in an awakening out of that. And all these great teachers, I think, have been pointing in that direction. And so for each one of us, I think the challenge is to understand this and to do the inner work. How many of you have a regular spiritual practice that you do on a daily basis? Anybody? Yeah. I highly recommend this. This is really important because it's like for me, like when my father played the piano, and I was the oldest child, and I looked at him and I said, yeah, I want to do that too. And he said, yeah, you got to practice, right? You can do it, but you got to practice. And I love, unity is the church of practical Christianity. It's like we're not just standing up here theorizing about how great it would be to be loving and how great it would be to be generous and so forth. It's like, how do we practice this? How do we create a community where we're embodying what this is all about? So this is the fundamental teaching, I think, is that each one of us can manifest, we can practice these teachings. And underlying all of that is the realization that what we are is consciousness. So, for example, spiritual practices generally, from my point of view, and I think what Charles and Merle Fillmore were emphasizing also, is silence. Being able to quiet our mind. Have you ever tried that? My old Zen teacher said, when you try to quiet your mind, it's like you realize you have this popcorn popping machine and you can't find the off switch. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what am I going to do? What I should have done? If they would have done that, I would have done this. But if they do that, then I won't do that. And I'll say that. And then if they would have said that, then what am I going to have for lunch? It's like, it's going on. It's like, our mind is continually, and it all reinforces this me, the self, and so forth. But the great sages emphasize the idea that when we can quiet our mind, we can realize that we are the eternal space within which this is arising. We can begin to witness and sort of be aware and watch this happening. And then we're free, in a sense. The things don't grab us like fish hooks that just like with barbs. That we go, we begin to realize that we are far greater than this. And when we do that inner work, I think the beautiful thing is then we begin to see that in others. Instead of just seeing them as a thing that we have to manipulate to get what we want, or this kind of thing, we begin to see with eyes of compassion and, like we heard in the song today, of empathy. We begin to have a sense of understanding that people are wounded. We're all wounded, right? Growing up in this society, we get banged around and criticized, and all these things happen. So we put on armor, but then we begin to take it off. We begin to go to unity and begin to realize that we can take off the armor and connect with the being that we are and see that in others. And then in many ways, we become healers. Because instead of seeing someone who's got problems, we see the light that's beyond all that. But we can really only do that if we see that in ourselves. So that's why I think the inner silence is so important, because when we connect with the ground of being, of just awareness, then we see that that this thing that I think I am is ephemeral, but what we are is eternal, the consciousness, the awareness. And so that's something that no one can do for someone else, but we can make that effort ourselves. And I think that's when spirituality begins, because in a sense what that leads to is this realization that we're being propelled, right? We're born here, and we're like a little sponge, right? We soak up their food, becomes my food, their language becomes my language, their attitudes become my attitudes. That's what we are as human beings. And so as we go through our life, we're doing something, right? We're getting a job, and every day we're doing a variety of things. What is propelling us to make those choices that we're making to do what we're doing? What is it? And in many ways, I think it's one of two things. It's either the cultural program, right? I mean, we're like what my father and mother said I should do, and what the Walmart ads say you should buy, and what all these things. We're being continually influenced by what we've gathered and so forth. So that's one, the cultural program. Or the other is our inner wisdom, our true nature, our intuition, the headquarters. And I think really in many ways, if we're only being propelled by the cultural program, then there really isn't any spirituality. We may go to church every Sunday, we may do all these things, but we're just doing what we've been told to do in many ways. But once we begin to quiet the mind and connect with this inner guidance system, and we're not just being propelled, and life goes by quickly. It's so funny. I heard this woman, she's the oldest woman in the world, they say at the time, I think it was a few years ago, a Japanese woman, 119 or something, she said. And they said, what's it like being 119? And she said, it just went by so fast. It does. And we're all going to say goodbye to this physical vehicle, right? So that gives a sense of preciousness and poignance to every day that we have. Every day is a precious opportunity to unfold the unique being that we are. And so it's this inner guidance system that allows us to do that. So what that means, our intuition, it doesn't mean that our life will then just be easy. Oh gosh, everything's comfortable. We will still have challenges, but the thing that's so precious is it'll be our life. It won't be somebody else's, right? There'll be a sense of authenticity. We're here to unfold what we're here to unfold. And every day we can connect with that inner guidance system to connect with what it is ours to do. And I think this brings a sense of connection with the bubbling spring of joy that's always at the core of our being. It's always there, but we don't see it. We don't feel it. We're not aware of it because we're at a shallow level. We're worried about what we should have done, and we wish we wouldn't have done, and they would have done, and what could have happened, and all these things. This continual busyness, but underneath that, at a deeper level, there's a fundamental joy of being. And so I think it's helpful maybe to think a little bit about the journey that we're on. And if you found your way through this door and you're here, you're on a beautiful journey of awakening. And I'll just share just briefly at the end here a little bit about what got me here, which was that I was born and raised in Concord, Massachusetts back in the early 1950s. And I remember Concord, Massachusetts was kind of an interesting place because it was the birthplace of the American Revolution, if you remember that. Hardly a man is now alive that remembers the famous day and year, the midnight ride of Paul Revere, the whole thing. So in 1775, the people up there started rebelling against the tyranny of the British, and they had a revolution. So every April 19th, which is Patriots' Day, my father would get on his Minuteman outfit and get the gun off the wall, and a bunch of other men would do it. And thousands of people would go down to the Old North Bridge in Concord and reenact the battle, and other men would be dressed up as redcoats like British, and we'd shoot at them and send them back to Boston and celebrate the revolution. If you have tyranny, you shouldn't stand for it. We need freedom. We have to have freedom. Without freedom, you don't have anything. It's really so precious. But then later, in that same town, in the mid-1800s, there was another kind of more spiritual revolution called transcendentalism. And so I was born in Emerson Hospital and learned to swim in Walden Pond and went to Thoreau School and Alcott School. Now these people, these men and women back then, they were the first ones to really kind of discover and incorporate non-Western spirituality. They started bringing in ideas, and they influenced Charles and Myrtle Fillmore quite a bit because it enriched in many ways. It didn't conflict with Christianity, but it gave another deepening. Like the idea from the Taoist tradition of God as this principle you could count on, that you could connect with, you could harmonize with, and live in harmony with, and that would give you peace and health and so forth. And the idea from the Buddhist tradition of God as this mind with a capital M, that is our own mind. Or the idea from the Hindu tradition that God is equally male and female, just manifests both ways. Now these ideas really, I think, enriched and started things percolating quite a bit here in the United States back then in the 1800s. And when I was in Colby College in Maine, I started just reading some of these books, and it really ignited something in me, actually, in the early 1970s. And it led to reading this book. Some of you may have heard of it. It's an old book from the 1890s called Cosmic Consciousness. I know, written by a guy named Richard Buck back then. But basically what he said, which I think is really interesting, he said that most people live their lives at the level of what he called self-consciousness. Right? We mostly care about ourselves and maybe our family or tribe, that kind of thing. And he said, sir, a few rare individuals had attained what he called cosmic consciousness. People like Jesus and the Buddha and great sages and saints and mystics and poets, both men and women through the ages. And he gave examples of some of these people that they had transcended that and lived at a level of what he called cosmic consciousness, which is basically, freeing oneself from caring only about the little me and basically loving everyone and living to be a blessing in the world, and a loss of this sort of pettiness and the fear of death and of other things, and just this sense of connectedness with a much higher level of awareness, a moral sort of elevation. But what was interesting to me and was kind of a calling to me was he said, it is the destiny of every human being to attain cosmic consciousness. And that's really our reason here. This is like a school, maybe you could say, or something. The Earth is a place where we work out, strengthen our muscle, our spiritual muscles, and we develop cosmic consciousness. So I remember going home and saying, Dad, Mom, we're not just here to make money and all that stuff. We're here to attain cosmic consciousness, right? And my father said, well, I'm spending an awful lot of money actually on this education for you. And how's that going to help you get ahead in the world anyway? So, but they were both open. My mother was an artist. My father taught me to play the piano. He was a writer. He owned a whole little chain of newspapers I was supposed to take over up there outside Boston. But basically, my younger brother, Ed, 2 years younger than me, I talked to him about this, and to my delight, he said, yes, that's what we got to do. Let's do it. Let's attain cosmic consciousness. And so I graduated from Colby, and we thought, now what do we do? We got to attain cosmic consciousness. So we thought about it, and then we thought, there's only one sure way to do it, and that is go to California. So I remember telling my father and mother, we're gonna walk. We thought, well, how do we get there? And we thought, we'll walk. We'll walk. We'll do a pilgrimage. We'll walk with no money to California. So we told my parents and my father, and they basically said, all right, my father even, I remember, it's really true, he actually quoted Thoreau and said, every man must march to the beat of the drum that he hears. And they gave us their blessing, and I walked down the driveway with my brother, we had a backpack with some fresh baked cookies for my mother, and we headed off to walk across all the way to California without any money, just kind of like the sadhus of India, just meditating, and somehow it'll all work. But the interesting thing was, in a way it did. We walked, and we worked our way west, and we got as far as Buffalo. And in Buffalo, it was like freezing like this. And I remember thinking, we got to stay ahead of the cold front. So instead of going west, we decided just to head south. So we did. We walked south all the way down through upstate New York, and then on these little back roads, down through, then all the way across Pennsylvania into West Virginia. And we didn't have money, but we somehow survived. It was autumn. There were gardens. People. We would help people. They'd give us something, and we were just doing this practice that we had read about by an Indian teacher a teacher from India, Ramana Maharshi. He said, just go deeper with the question of who am I? Who am I? What am I? What is this? What am I? Not just this body. What am I? So I was doing that and just walking, and maybe 20 miles a day, something like that. And we'd stay in these little tiny towns and usually sleep on the floor of a church. Sometimes they put us in a jail. Sometimes it was a rescue mission. Sometimes it was just a forest somewhere. But we kept working our way south, and we get into West Virginia, and then they said, boys, you're in the Bible Belt. I didn't know what that meant, but I found out. That means they try to save you every night. So we worked our way down through West Virginia, really hilly, and then we got into eastern Kentucky and really into Appalachia, and I remember sometimes we would give a talk to the church, to the kids, to the Sunday school. They'd say, well, you boys, you're on a spiritual path. Can you talk to our kids? And we would say, it's true what Jesus said. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else shall be added unto you. Go for the spirituality. That's what's most important. Because we were doing it, and we were finding it was working, really. I mean, we never went hungry by some miracle. I remember one time we hadn't eaten for a while, and we were walking along the road, and there was 2 sandwiches wrapped up right there, and we thought, oh, there it is, things would happen. And I remember and then they gave us at this church, I think it was in Kentucky, they gave us like $30, it was a donation. And we thought, wow. So we walked, we had lunch, and the lunch was like $12 for 2 people back in 1975. And then we would give the waitress an $18 tip, and just keep going. Because we thought every day has to take care of itself. And so we worked our way down through Kentucky into Tennessee, and then we were in south of Nashville, and there was a community there called The Farm. We found out, and The Farm was the largest hippie commune in the world, and they were pretty much all from California. So we thought, all right, they met us in the middle. So they were all vegetarians, and actually that's where I decided never eaten meat in my life since that day in 1975 and I found out years later when I met Madeline, the same thing happened for her as well. And then we continued on actually after a few weeks at the farm down all the way down into Alabama in Huntsville there was a Zen center, and so we lived in the Zen center. And I ended up eventually getting to California, living in these different meditation centers, and eventually shaved my head, became a Buddhist monk in Korea, all that, and then came back and got my PhD at Berkeley and taught college for a number of years, philosophy and comparative religion and so forth. And I discovered unity actually in Atlanta near Huntsville, and then also in Atlanta when we were there. And I realized that unity is an incredibly rich, precious teaching. It's got a whole wisdom tradition in a way that's accessible for us to understand and live this. And so I just feel that this is such a precious gift, that what the Fillmores have done is take the essence of the truth that Jesus really brought and manifested that's in harmony with all the world's traditions and create a network of people who can live this and then bring peace and love and abundance and harmony into the world by doing the inner work that it was required to do that, and then working together to live these teachings and share them with a larger community, because the most important thing is to not let these wisdom teachings die out. Every generation we have to do our job and pass it on to the younger people so it continues, because the forces that want to destroy the spiritual teachings are very powerful. And they do. They want to wipe it out and enslave humanity. So it's really important that we keep these traditions alive and live the teaching of loving kindness and compassion, peace and joy and freedom. And I remember on that walk with my brother, I'll just wrap it up here. I remember I was walking, on some little road somewhere in West Virginia or something, and I had no reason to be happy, right? I mean, we had no money, we had no security, we were not doing what we were supposed to do. But for the first time since I was maybe 1 year old, I had these waves of joy just washing over me. I was so happy. And I think that's our true nature. When we're living our life, it doesn't mean we're going to be approved of, but there'll be this unreasonable joy, right? This joy that we're just here and we're happy, because that's our true nature. We're sons and daughters of God, right, of the divine love, and that's joy. And that's our true nature, and especially when we're being in alignment and living our true nature, being creative. That's what our true genius is. It's just the unique being that we are, letting that flow through as whatever it is, as art, as music, as conversations, as creative ways that we can give and share. So thank you all for the efforts that you're making to manifest what these teachings really are all about, which is a transformation in our lives, coming back home to our true nature. And in the Buddhist tradition, there's these three jewels that are considered the essence of everything: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Buddha is just the inner light, like we would call it maybe the inner Christ, the truth, our true nature, the eternal being. The Dharma is the teachings that help us to realize our true nature. So those are the first two jewels, the Buddha and the Dharma. The third one is the Sangha. The Sangha is the community of people who have the yearning to awaken their true nature and to help the teachings to spread of compassion and kindness. And one of the interesting things is the Buddha said, without the Sangha, the community, there will be no Buddha and no Dharma. So really remember that everything you do to help support this ministry, this unity ministry, is incredibly precious. We're only on this earth for a few decades, and so if we can come here and awaken out of the delusion of materialism in our society, and then actually create and co-create and support a community of people who are bringing this teaching to help the whole world, we have lived our life well. That's a really very high calling, and it's very precious. So I want to thank all of you for these efforts, because no effort is ever lost. It all helps all of us to manifest what Jesus was talking about, really, the kingdom that is within us. And it's nothing stopping us. This earth is abundant and beautiful, and we're just waiting for us humans to realize and awaken out of the delusion of separation and materialism. So thank you all very much for all your efforts. Much love to you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
not stop gravity. It's a powerful message, but he did not change the laws of gravity, which ties into what I'm about to say. The law of abundance, which you briefly mentioned. Are we going to get a little offering music? Okay. So you've heard Kelly and me and different people get up and we say, okay, now's the time in our service where we have the opportunity to give back and put that energetic flow of abundance into action. And that's all true. I just kind of said it in parable right there. I want to, truly in parable. A little example in my own life that happened this week. I got this idea, this intuition, to stop by this liquor store on Highway 58, which is next to the Stardust Spiritual Shop. A very, very cool shop on Highway 58 where we've gotten a bunch of stuff. And play some scratchers. I'm not a scratcher player. But I was like, did it. And so I did it last week. I bought 5, it was $10. And I got like $4 back. And I was like, I feel I looked on the website and found that there's this one game that had like 1,700 $500 prizes still there for a $2 scratcher. And so on Wednesday, our landscapers came, and I paid him like I normally do, just a check in the mail, and I looked at it, I was like, gosh, it's Christmas, I didn't give him anything last year. I think maybe I just had this feeling I'm gonna write in $60 every 2 weeks. He charges us. It's a great deal. They come and do the whole yard and everything. 3 guys, and I look back at it as if that check isn't there. If they haven't taken that check, I'm gonna write another check and just write on the bottom Feliz Navidad to them for $100. So I did. On Thursday, I went back. I was coming back from an errand. I stopped by that liquor store, bought 5 scratchers. $500 scratcher, jumbo scratcher on a $2, and it happened. So that law of abundance, I just offer that. I'm not saying it's going to guarantee, but I mean but once you put that, but it does though, it does, because when we do that, when we live the practice, like he was talking about, that faith of walking across the country, just try it. I just invite people to just try it. Anyway, I wanted to share that little, I was like, wow, I had that thing. I gave Rodrigo $100 and I got 500 back. It's like, thank you, God, right? So I at this time I invite us all to take out your offering statement and let's say, well, I ain't got a lot to say today. All right, so let's all say it together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I receive in abundance. Truly.
The short piece of music around the world. Enjoy.
This abundance, this energy that we feed into our spiritual center here, our little unity of Chattanooga we've come so far this year with our intentions, our willpower, our desire, and our love. And it's manifesting all around us. And it's going to continue for the rest of this year and into 2025 and beyond. So it is. This is still on. That one off. And this one on. Perfect. All right. Okay, so announcements. Well, I want to start out, thank you, Dr. Tuttle, for that great message. In the library today, if you haven't gone back there yet, he and Madeline have set up their books and CDs and some more artwork that can be purchased. And, you know, just be sure and check it out. It's a nice display in there. It's good energy. And just for December now, you know, we lit the Advent, the peace candles. At the end of service, this time during the announcement up through Christmas, we're having a drawing with everyone's name that is here today for a Christmas gift. And this week we're giving away an annual subscription to Unity's Daily Word, which is a little pint-sized daily devotional from Unity, which offers encouraging messages every day of the year. And I would just, if people, how many people are familiar with Daily Word? Yeah, most of us. It's a neat little thing. I picked up I picked it up periodically through the years that I've been with Unity, and this past year I picked up one at UMass at the conference in North Carolina, and I read it. And for me, it hits about twice a week, 2 to 3 times a week. The word is really spot on. But when it is, it's so nice to have kind of like a word that summarizes. If I read it at the end of the day, it's like, oh, that's what this day kind of meant. Or I like reading it in the morning, setting the intention for the day. It's like, oh, today's word is going to be, and then just watching how it manifests. So Laura and I are renewing our membership, and there's a free gift subscription. So whoever wins this, come and see us afterwards so that we can put your name on the free gift subscription. So with that said, don't look at it, don't look at it. Laura, why don't you, so there's no, pick a name. Corliss Lull. Corliss, yeah, there you are. There, congratulations. I hope you enjoy it. So, okay, good. All right. So when you came in this morning, I hope you saw that there's a handout of all the activities taking place here in Unity Chattanooga for the next month. We have a lot going on, and so Eva's holding it up there. We have several copies. If you didn't get one, I invite you to just pick it up. It's just going to be a little half-page list of all the things that we have going on coming up. Not on that list, because it's not a Unity of Chattanooga thing, but I just want to share this with some of the people in here that I know. How many people are familiar with Lynn Taggart and the Power of 8? We have several. Yeah, we got a couple. She is having a free Zoom this Tuesday, December 10th at noon, Thriving with Intention During Uncertain Times. And it's just going to be a nice little, it's a free Zoom session. There's probably going to be about 1,000, 1,200 people on there. She's wildly popular, but it's great energy. She's going to talk about the power of 8 and having clear, concise, setting clear and concise intentions. So she has one on December 10th, and then another one on Tuesday, December 17th with the author Anita Morajani. So if anybody is interested in that, I put a little sign-up sheet in the back. I can send you the I can email you the registration link. So there's a little sign-up, there's a clipboard back there. If you put your name and email address on it, I will email you the registration link. It's free, both of them are free. They're really wonderful. I did her master class 2 years ago. Some of you had heard me talk about it. It's one way we manifested our trip across the country in here, and a lot of the good things that we've had come into our lives since then. So, in addition, every Thursday we have our Wellness Warriors group that meets here at noon. That is for anyone dealing with a chronic health challenge or situation that they just want confidential group support. It's a group that Gino Petro and I co-founded back in April. We actually started meeting here before we had our first service here. We met the first week before we had our first service, and it's a great group. I invite anybody that's having any health challenges or anything to come and check us out. And also on Thursday at 6:30 in the evening, Amanda Adamson will be leading our metaphysical discussion group for the last time this year. And are you guys wrapping up the?
We're not wrapping up. Actually, we're going over the 12 powers, and everybody's welcome. And we're talking, and this superpower of man is love, and as Charles Fillmore calls it, regenerating love. So it's always lively, and we always learn so much. So
Yeah.
please join us.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is. We are going to be closed.
And then it'll be the last. It'll be the last metaphysical discussion group for the year. So as the weather gets colder, we have a bin in the library for us to bring in donations of items that will be needed by the homeless. And so just think of anything that you'd need on a camping trip, basically. That's what these people need. So, blankets, non-perishable food items, basic essentials like large sweatshirts so that they can layer, socks, underwear, and gloves. So just check it out. It's right under this bookcase on the left.
Can we also add like a manual can opener? I work with.
Oh, good idea.
And their main complaint is that you get all these, but then we don't have any.
They get cans, yeah. So a manual can opener.
Opener, Dollar General.
Yeah.
25.
Antique stores, yeah. Go back to the 20th century, time machine. Yeah, no, that's a great suggestion. Thank you. Manual can openers. Right.
Go for them.
Yeah, not pocket knives. We're not trying to arm these people. Yeah. Right. No, that's a great. Thank you for that suggestion. Okay, next Sunday on December 15th, we're going to be welcoming back Reverend Bronte for a heartfelt Unity Christmas message titled "Love is a Journey and Love is a Teacher, Step by Step." So this is going to be your invitation to fill up your holiday cup with love. And you should all mark your calendars for our annual Cookies and Cocoa Night with our White Elephant gift exchange. This is a fun evening of plain good old-fashioned holiday cheer and get together, and that is going to be, it's on your little pieces of paper, Wednesday, December 18th at 6:30 in the evening here. And so, bring a wrapped gift, a bag, and we'll do a white elephant exchange. So today, if you would like to receive a personal prayer for either challenges or joys in your life, it's important to acknowledge and be grateful and give thanks for our joys. Our prayer chaplain today is Lynn Chartier, and she will be available in the office there, which is open to meet with you after service. So, and then don't forget today at around 12:15, after we get done with our fellowship eating, Dr. Tuttle is going to be offering a workshop called Opening Your Intuitive Gate, the Keys to Developing Your Intuition. So that is going to be good. Let me see your note here. Mention your books and art. Okay, so I think I did all that.
At 3 o'clock.
Sorry, and then, yes, I know, hold on, Kate.
Okay.
Just cool your jets. Then at 3 o'clock, he's going to also be presenting the lecture. He mentioned the World Peace Diet, the book that he wrote a long time ago. He's going to, Healing Our World is the title of the presentation. It's a deeper look at food based on the book World Peace Diet. So both presentations are this afternoon, and both are offered on a love offering basis. So with that, look at us being so active. Oh, one more.
Hi. Anybody that's a member, I already have your email address. For New Year's Eve, I'm going to be sending out the evites for our Unity party, so you don't have to be a member. It's fabulous. It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on. And so please, see me or we'll get a scratch and turn a piece of paper over and just jot down your name and your email address because I want to send those out Tuesday. So check your spams and please, please, please RSVP because people bring food and they want to know how many, are going to be there.
It is a potluck, right? So you're
Yeah.
asking people to, well, you are getting paid, but yeah.
And it's kind of BYOB. There will be champagne, so bring your heart, Anyway.
What is that date?
It is New Year's Eve, the
New Year's Eve,
31st.
yeah.
Also,
And you want to give the hours on it too, so,
yeah, it's going to be 6:30 to 10. We celebrate New Year's at 10 with Greenland or whoever it's.
yeah.
Also, if anybody is interested in a piano that works kind of good,
Yes.
that we need to find a home for,
Yeah.
please see Eric. And,
Yeah. Yeah, we have an upright piano downstairs that we do not, we're keeping our original upright that was here, and that we were using in service before we got this great keyboard donated to us. But we do have another one downstairs that does need a little bit of TLC, but to the right home,
And unfortunately, this is all I want to say is we don't have a way of
Right.
translating it to your phone.
yeah, we don't have a way. So if you know of any organization that wants a free piano,
I belong to performing art leagues. We raise money for kids that cannot afford the arts. So I personally have donated guitars and keyboards and stuff like that, but I find bake sales and stuff like that.
all right?
And then we donate some of them to two schools of arts that are being cut off of income.
Okay. Well, if you could give us the names of those organizations and the contact information.
Then I'll give you maybe a child.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great. Awesome. Thank you. Look at that community. Just ask and it shall receive. Okay, so now join. Sorry.
Say a couple of quick words, and then we do the peace song, right? But yeah, please join us this afternoon for opening the Intuitive Gate. Albert Schweitzer said the key to happiness is good health and a short memory. And so we'll be sharing some techniques to come into this present moment, using music and art to help everyone who's participating connect with your own unique way of accessing your intuition. And so please join us for that. And then at 3 o'clock, we'll have another presentation on my book, The World Peace Diet. And I want to let you know, this just came out about 2 weeks ago, The World Peace Way, which is really, it's called 6 Keys to Health and Harmony for All. This is a practical guide to radiant health for ourselves and for our society. So we do have those brand new books as well, and look forward to seeing you afterwards. So much love. Thanks again for the great work you're doing. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, so let's stand and do a raucous version of the song together.